All right, guys. Hey, welcome back. Today we are going to make a pie crust, and it's just going to be a basic pie crust. It only requires a few ingredients. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. It requires 5 ingredients, and it's going to be a flaky pie crust. We're going to start out first with the flour. I have here 2.5 cups of flour. We'll just add that right into our food processor. This is so simple. You can use a bowl, but if you have a food processor, if you don't have a food processor, I'll leave a link for it in the description below, and you can check me out on my Amazon. I get credit for any time someone buys something on Amazon. It helps out me and helps out my channel. All right, got the 2.5 cups of flour. Now here I have sugar and salt. I have 1 tablespoon of sugar and 1 teaspoon of salt. Go ahead and put that in there. And what you want to do now is you just want to run it through real quick. And what that does is it's just going to incorporate that sugar and that salt into the flour. Okay. I have here, it calls for 1 cup of very cold butter. So I just took the butter out of the freezer and let it sit for a few minutes. So this is very cold butter. Go ahead and we're going to start with 1 stick first. Just put them in there. You want to scatter them around. You don't want to put them all on one side. And then to that, I have here a bowl, 1 cup of ice water. You only want to take a couple of teaspoons at a time. Excuse me, tablespoons. Start out with 4 tablespoons first. You can always add. You can never subtract. Pulse that, okay? Now, once that's done, take the next stick of butter. And the same thing. Tablespoons of your ice water. Guys, a little hack there. Just get a cup of water and put an ice cube in it. Now, what should happen is this dough should start to come together and get all crumbly looking. Now, what you want to do is grab a spatula. You just start seeing it come together like this. It's getting crumbly, but there's still some butter in there. So what you want to do is you want to try to break it up a little bit. And you want to try to get all that butter to break down inside the flour. It takes about 20 minutes. But I'll tell you, it's the best dough out there. Put it back on high. All right, guys, now that it's all well incorporated, you just see it. It's very flaky right now. You're going to take it out of here, and you're going to put it inside of a bowl. Now, this pie crust makes 2 pie crusts. Makes your top and makes your bottom. Just like that. Now we're going to put this in the refrigerator for 2 hours and let it set up. All right, folks, we are back. Okay, it's been about 2 hours. So now, the second part, we're going to be rolling the dough out and placing it in our pie dish. You're going to need a scraper, a rolling pin, about a 1/2 cup of flour, and of course, your pie crust. Now, what we're going to do first is we're going to take the pie crust off. Put a little bit of flour on the parchment paper. Put that right in there like that. Now, don't throw that. Don't put the bowl in the sink because you're going to need it because you're going to cut this in half and you're going to put the other half back in the bowl and you're going to put that back in the refrigerator. And the purpose of doing that is, you see these little chunks of butter, okay? That's what you want, but you don't want that butter to melt, not yet. So you want to make sure you keep it as cold as possible for as long as possible. So, go ahead. First thing we're going to do is we're just going to cut it right in half. Just like that. 1/2 back in the bowl. And you put that back in the refrigerator. First one cut, put the other half in the refrigerator. Got a little bit of parchment paper, a little bit more flour on there. What we're going to do first is we're just going to press this down into a ball. You don't want to play with it too much because the heat from your hands will start melting that butter. You don't want that. All right, take another pinch of flour, right on top of it. Get the last little bit, rub it on your rolling pin. Start in the middle. Always start in the middle. Press down, roll out, just like that. Keep going, and you want this to come out to about between 1/8 of an inch and 1/4 inch thick. Alrighty, folks. Well, due to a little bit of technical difficulties, i.e. I forgot to plug my phone in. I went ahead and rolled this out. I'm not sure where I left off at. Anyway, we rolled it out to between 1/8 and 1/4 of an inch thick. Got your pie plate here. This part, it's easy, but it's also tricky. What you want to do is you want to fold your pie crust, okay? Lay it right about in the middle, like that, and then roll it back out again. And you don't want to break it. You want to keep it together. And that's where patience comes in. And my mom's over here laughing because I lack patience. That's not true.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, it is. All right, guys, that's what it's going to look like right there. Now, what you're going to do now is get yourself a sharp little knife. What you want to do, guys, is you want to go, it depends on where you want it. You want it hanging over, or you want it inside. I want it inside. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay my knife right there, and it's right on that lip. Right here on that lip. I want to lay it right there on that lip, and I just want to go right straight across, just like that. Nice and easy. Don't want to go too hard. Take your time and just cut it right across that lip, just like that. Just like that. Now, if it gets too sticky, guys, take a little bit of that flour and just wipe it on the knife. All right? Just wipe it on the knife, just like that. That way there, it doesn't stick to the pie crust. Remember, this is a flaky pie crust, so there's a lot of butter in there. We are done. Perfect. All right, now, I have here 1 can of apple pie filling. This says that this handles 1 9-inch pie crust. I don't believe it. So we're going to go ahead and open the second can. And we're going to put 2 cans in there. Why? Because we can. We're back. Got the second can open. Put on in there. Oh my goodness, that looks so good though, don't it? What do you think, Mom? Does it look good?
It looks delicious.
Guys, I want to thank my mom. She was the one who taught me how to make pies and pie crust, preferably pie crusts. Something that she was taught by her aunt. And it goes back a long way. This pie crust goes back quite a few years in my mom's side of the family. It's a really simple pie crust, as you see. I had it written on a piece of paper. Really simple pie crust, really easy to make. Okay, now, got that in there. Get that little bit of juice left in there. Juice is good. Put that to the side. Now, guys, we're going to get the other pie crust out here in a minute. But I know it comes seasoned, but I want to put a little bit of extra seasoning on there. So I have a little bit of nutmeg. And we're just going to sprinkle a little bit of nutmeg on there. And of course, you need some cinnamon. Cinnamon. All right, sounds good. Put this to the side, get the other pie crust out, and roll it out. By the way, guys, forgot to tell you, you want to preset your oven for 350 degrees. Perfect timing, because we are done. Perfect pie crust, guys. All right. Take your pie plate. What you want to do is this one here, just roll it. If there's too much hanging off of there, that's not a problem. Just take that knife and just go around the outside of the plate. And again, like the same thing. Follow the curvature of the plate. Keep the knife flat up against it. Just like that. And you hear that knife just tapping against that plate. Just like that, guys. Real simple, real easy. And don't stab yourself or don't stab the crust or stab the plate or stab yourself. That's always make for a bad day. All right. For an egg wash, you can use egg or you can use water. It's entirely up to you. But we're going to use egg this time. But before we do that, you want to take that same knife and you want to poke it down. Poke it down. You want to make little stars right over the top, just like that. And I'm telling you, if you want, you can put a little bit of nutmeg on there, but cinnamon's good enough. But there you go, guys. We're going to take an egg, give it a good beat real quick. You just want to take it and brush it on there, guys. Nice, rich color on there. Oh yeah. Guys, can you see that? That looks good. How's it look? Yeah? I think it... Absolutely. All right, guys, we're going to let this cool off, but